You may have heard that on April 8th, 2024, there will be a total solar eclipse crossing the United States of America. You've also probably heard the crazy amount of reports that are saying that this could be the end times, or that it's some great call to repentance, or that we should stock up on food, water, necessities, that there might be a communications blackout, that there could be a solar flare, that all sorts of things could happen with this eclipse. And we should be prepared, and we should buckle down, hunker down, etc., etc. The question that I have is, I feel like we have been through this before, that we have actually seen a solar eclipse before in our country. And it seems like it was just about 7 years ago in 2017. But I don't remember ever being told to stock up on water or, isolate in my home to protect myself. But there is one distinct difference between that solar eclipse and this solar eclipse. It's an election year. And it just can't help but notice that in every election year, there is something that we are to be afraid of, that that's both candidates, both sides seem to get something out of people needing the government, needing to be afraid, needing to sort of isolate, and especially in division, that things that people can disagree on. And so I would like to pose a minute to just think about what are the lessons that we actually learned on how to prepare from the last election year pandemic sort of thing that we all had to be afraid of and we all had to isolate from. And I guess it's really important for me to share my insight on what I learned from that particular event. And it was a very distinct difference in those that had a relationship with healthy people around them, who their community circle was. That's probably the biggest takeaway, is we really were forced to think about who are the people in our lives that really matter? Who is our inner circle? Who are the people that we would risk life and limb in order to spend time with? And are we cultivating those relationships? The best way we could possibly prepare for any emergency. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a total nerd, so I've been all up into this eclipse stuff and how fascinating it is, and the potential for being able to see a comet, and just the fact that it's something that for some of us is kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and there's a lot of historical value to this particular eclipse. So that's all very, very interesting. However, whether it's this eclipse or any natural disaster or anything that we need to prepare for, the best question that we can ask ourselves is, who is our support network? Who are the people that we would need to rely on? Do we have a plan to communicate with them if there was a communication blackout at some point in time? Do we have a system to be able to stay close and stay tight? Who are our neighbors? Do we know our neighbors? Do we know who we would rely on, who have the skills and expertise that we don't? Should that come in handy, that we would need that? For example, who's your best gardener? Like if we're gonna have a food shortage, I want to know who in my life has the best understanding of how to grow their own food. Whatever it may be, have you cultivated, have you prepared those relationships? Are you prepared to have time with your closest loved ones in your home? Do you have healthy relationships in that you could be locked up together again, should that ever happen? Those are the types of questions that we need to ask ourselves when it comes to preparing for anything. But also, one other little piece of insight that was 100% obvious to me in the last thing that we were preparing for, which was those that had a relationship, not just with others, but with Jesus Christ. The people that had a deep-rooted relationship, that had their spiritual disciplines, they read their Bible, they prayed, they understand the peace that surpasses understanding, they handled that completely different than people who weren't totally sure, who really didn't have that intimacy with their Creator. And so I ask you, what is the preparation you need to do in your relationship with Jesus? What is the best thing that you could possibly do? Because navigating whatever storm, whatever challenge, whatever disaster that might come our way is so much easier and so much more peaceful when you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, the Creator. So friends, This is another one of those moments where we just have to say, we will not tolerate division. We will stop it. We will stop confusion and chaos. We will not isolate. We will not hunker into our own homes. We will help our neighbors. We will help one another. We will spread love and cheer. And above all else, we will continue to live in community. So let's end isolation and stop the division. And I'm praying for all of you.